Hello, scholars. Welcome to your second Wednesday Independent Day. Today we are going to be working on analyzing text structure. Remember, yesterday we talked about the standards we're going to cover. Today we're going to be working on 7R5, specifically informational text. We're going to be able to analyze the structure an author uses to organize a text, including how the sections contribute to the whole and to the development of themes and central ideas. This theme for today is what makes us us. We are going to be working on, I'm going to just show you overall. We're going to be working on this page, and then we have this page that we're going to do together. So we're going to do the first page and the second page together, and then for your independent practice today, you're going to be working on this page. So let's just go over this really quickly. All right. So the text structure, or the way an author decides to organize his or her ideas, determines how each part of the text supports and relates to the other parts. Authors must organize major sections of a text in a logical way so that readers can easily understand the information. Here are 4 common text structures authors use in their writing. We're going to read about each text structure and what its purpose is. Then we're going to think about books or magazines we might have read that use these kinds of text structures. So the 4 we have are chronological, problem solution, cause effect, and compare and contrast. An author will use chronological if they're trying to present steps that someone should take, or they're recounting something that happened in history or something that happened in past, and they want to tell you about what happened in order from beginning, middle to end. Problem solution, a lot of times authors will use this when there is like an issue or a problem that people are trying to figure out, and then there are some possible solutions. So they'll dedicate the first part of a text to kind of convincing us that something is a problem or telling us information so we realize something is a problem, and then the second part of their text is going to be the solution or what we can do about it. This reminds me a lot of the kind of work we're doing with social justice issues, because we do know what the problem is, and sometimes we have to describe and teach that problem and then introduce the different kinds of solutions. We have the third, which is cause and effect. This will show you how one event leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, or just how one event causes another event. And with compare and contrast, this reminds me of the monologue we just did. We point out the similarities and differences between 2 or more things. In the case of our monologue, we had differences. We compared and contrast 2 different characters' reactions or thoughts and opinions on a specific social justice issue. So these are the 4 major ones that you'll see over and over again, and these are the 4 that you can use when you're doing your writing: chronological, problem solution, cause effect, and compare and contrast. Let's look at the titles of Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 in the table of contents below in this example book, and we'll think about which specific words give us a clue to the text structure an author might use. So if we look at Chapter 2, it's called Solving the Problems of Heredity. Here we can see that the ideas are probably going to be arranged problem solution, because that's the name of the chapter, solving the problem. So they're going to start with the problem. They're going to introduce the solution. Chapter 3, how DNA was discovered. This chapter is probably going to use chronological text structure to describe the way we discovered DNA and the different scientific advances that came after that. Authors use, this is important, authors use specific words and phrases to signal to readers how ideas in major sections of a text are organized. For example, words such as finally or at that time signal a chronological text structure. Noticing these signal words can help you understand the whole piece and how each major section of a text contributes to it. You might see things for chronological like previously, later, finally. That shows you that they're putting things in order. Probably for problem and solution, you'll see things like challenge or resolution. Cause and effect, you'll see things like as a result of. Compare and contrast, you'll see similarly, unlike. So there are all these kind of words that kind of clue you in. And it's important to know that an author can choose different structures for each chapter. So we might read a text where the author is going to use chronological in one section and then problem solution in the next section. All right, we are going to read the first 3 paragraphs of a scientific article about the discovery of DNA. And we're going to explore how to answer these questions. How has the author structured this part of the article? And why has the author structured it this way? Authors structure text so you know what to expect and what is most important. They may present events in chronological or simple time order, or they may compare and contrast details, describe causes and effects, or explore problems and solutions. Let's read the paragraphs. All right, from the discovery of DNA's structure. They were hardly modest, these 2 brash young scientists, who in 1953 declared that they had found the secret of life. But James Watson and Francis Crick's claim was a valid one, for they had, in fact, discovered the structure of DNA, the chemical that encodes instructions for building and replicating almost all living things. Watson and Crick's discovery didn't come out of the blue. As early as 1943, Oswald Avery proved what had been suspected, that DNA carries genetic information. But no one knew how it worked. Then, in 1951, at King's College in London, Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins were studying DNA. Wilkins and Franklin used X-ray diffraction as their main tool. Beaming X-rays through the molecule yielded a shadow picture of the molecule's structure. So when I'm trying to figure out the text structure, I look at words that show how ideas or events are related. So I see the date 1953, and I see the date 1951, 1943. This is already telling me this is probably chronological, right? Let's look at the chart below. So our central idea, the ideas of many scientists, came together, leading to the discovery of DNA structure. We can figure out what a text structure is and why the author did it that way just using this simple graphic organizer. We start with the central idea though. And the central idea was basically that a lot of scientists came together and slowly our discovery of DNA structure came into being. So we know that the structure, let's see how I can write on this. I think I can do it this way. Yep. All right. This structure is definitely, here we go. Is definitely chronological. And what is the purpose behind doing it this way? Think for a moment. What would be the purpose? Why did the author choose to start chapter 1 in this way, using a chronological order? You know, once I recognize this structure, I think about why the author chose it and how it helps me understand the relationship between ideas related to the topic. So because this article is about the history of the discovery of the structure of DNA, the author wants to show the order of events that led to the discovery. So the purpose is to tell, let me not type in all capital letters like some people we know, to tell what events led to the discovery of DNA's structure. And there we have it. That's his purpose. Simple as that. He did it chronologically because he wants to just show you the events that led up to the discovery. Now, this is what you are going to be doing on your own. Let me put this in full screen. No, let me put this in full screen. All right. This is what you're going to be doing on your own. On the left, and we'll be using this book going forward, and if you go to Saturday Academy, you'll also be using something similar. This is an excellent book that kind of breaks down the different standards. They have tools for close reading and they give you little hints on the left. It's always a good idea to read these boxes. You're going to continue reading about the discovery of DNA. You're going to use this information to help you answer the question. Remember, we read the question first so we know why we're reading. Let's zoom in. The question we're going to answer, there's actually two questions. How does the overall structure the author uses to organize the text help readers better understand the history of the discovery of DNA structure? So here we have a different part of the text, so different kinds of structures. Let's think about how the structure helps the reader understand what they're talking about. And then finally, for your written response, I did not mean to do that. Where'd you go? There you go. For the written response, you are going to write, how does the text structure help the author tell the story of the discovery of DNA? Why did the author write it in that way? Why did they use that structure? How did that help them get their point across? And it's as simple as that. So you're going to have, you're going to watch the Edpuzzle video, which you're already doing right now because we're making it. You're going to go to Google Classroom. I have a PDF of what we've just looked at, the book, so that you can actually read the text and read the different tips for close reading. And then you're going to click here to open up a Google form, and the Google form is how you're going to be graded on top of your grade for Edpuzzle. So you put your name, your class, and then you have 6 questions. The first 4 are just asking you to figure out which structure presents steps or events in a timely order. So they kind of give you the definitions, and you have to decide, is that chronological, problem, solution, cause, effect, or compare and contrast. And then you have the multiple choice question we just read from the book and the written response. And there you have it. Just make sure you read through, double check your answers, use the video, watch it a couple times until you get it right. All right? Thank you so much. You guys are excellent. You're great. You're hard workers, and I appreciate it. Have a great day.